everyone, welcome back to Rise Up with Janeena Chan. This is our sixth episode already. Wow, time flies when you're having fun. Grabe ang cliche nun. Pero totoo naman talaga. I'm having so much fun. I think I'm enjoying it more than I expected to. I mean, I do still miss like traditional hosting. Pero iba pag podcasts. I don't know why. It's probably the microphone. Making everything feel so legit. But yeah, welcome to the show. And if you're a newcomer, hello, hello. I hope you learn a lot today. And I hope you enjoy listening in on today's episode. And if you are returning from previous episodes and you've been tuning in since day one, I personally want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'm so grateful for you, for everyone who has been supporting Rise Up with Janeena Chan on behalf of the entire team. Thank you talaga. Sobrang saya. It's a passion project of ours, first of all. And this is really, we really do have a purpose in doing all of this to connect everyone even more. I think more than anything, a lot of people have been feeling lost and lonely, if I were to put it casually and as candidly as possible. So I hope this alleviates some of that either sadness or I hope this at least gives you like a companion. Well, let my voice accompany you today. And we're going to talk about basically life. I asked I asked over on my IG stories and via our page some questions that you're just curious about either me or probably about life that I could probably help you with. Medyo na pressure naman ako. But this is just again, I'm here as a friend more than anything. So let this be a discussion of that. Okay, magchichikahan lang tayo. And yeah, so let's begin. I've collected some questions from a lot of our viewers and some of my friends and listeners and followers from way back. And I'm really so happy to have them here. And yeah, let's begin. Basically, some are a bit personal, but of course, all of these are relatable naman, I believe, because it boils down to career, to life, to love. Grabe, may pa-love life ganon. Okay, medyo maraming questions, but let's do it as, yeah, let's just get to it. And let's begin with the first one. Let's start with career and academics. Gusto mo yun, academics. Okay, so first question is, I guess about me, just also a good context of those who are listening who aren't familiar yet. So, this question is, have you always dreamed of being a host and how did you get started? And it's like kind of like a follow-up question related to it. What did I take up in college? Because they admire my wit daw. Naks naman, thank you naman. No, okay. So, well, okay. Maybe most of the people would know me from work, which is hosting, but it really started out with ano lang, just my passions growing up. I loved singing ever since. Contesera pa ako noon. Grabe talaga ang contesera, no? Back in like elementary and even in preschool, I would join singing competitions. And hilig na rin siya na at the same time, yung mga teachers ko from preschool would be like, sige, join, kanta ka na. And even for those who are listening from the Chinoy and Chinese Filipino community, for further context, I studied in St. Jude Catholic School. As in, nung prep 3 pa lang, gano'n, nagjo-join na ako ng mga yan with full-on costume. And so grateful to have a momager ever since. My mom who's been supporting me all these years. So yeah, singing. And then it kind of just like grew from there. I think with life, you have to just trust where life takes you. It's a domino effect of things. Grabe, medyo mahaba to, pero I'm gonna do my best to summarize everything kasi I had a very colorful childhood talaga. Okay, so it started yun na nga, singing, and then competitions on campus, and then off-campus competitions. Yung mga YMCA pa yung iba, nakakatuwa. Like mga Chinese singing competitions in full-on costume. Nagma-music lessons pa talaga ako and all that. And yeah, career mode. Even like Tagalog singing competitions, yung mga Lea Salonga songs, lahat yan, mga Regine Velasquez. And like English songs, hanggat sa, there was this like kind of like a off-campus competition, the search for the next Disney singing princess. O, diba? Eh ako pa naman mahilig sa Disney. So we joined. Talagang we, no? Kasi, again, um, I wouldn't be here without my team, which is basically my family. They've been supporting me ever since. So I won that singing competition as the Little Mermaid, as in complete with fins and like my flounder stuffed toy with a treasure chest and everything. So yun, from that time, may pagka-mall tour pa nga to eh. So, it was open for the public. And then, parang may ganung effect. May pa-discover effect. Na-discover tayo doon. No, so there was like an agency, related naman yung industry for modeling naman. And then they were like, sige, maybe you want to be a kitty model and maybe you want to try out modeling. So, yun, parang from there, from singing, naging modeling. And then my first was I tried out for Barbie models here in the Philippines. That's Ritual, diba? Sina Auntie Mirna. Grabe, full circle. So whenever I'd see her in the events, they own like Mattel, Barbie here in the Philippines. Parang nakakatuwa lang talaga. And it's great to like look back at, wow, I started there and like, look at where we are now. And I still see them in events. So yun. And then, grabe yun. Sobrang saya talaga. I had such a colorful childhood, especially because of that. Kasi can you believe every weekend, meron kami mga mall tours and mall shows in decked out in full on Barbie. So yun, from there yun, modeling industry, and then tried out for other things too. From Barbie naging Bratz, wow. And then to other opportunities then from print ads, ganon. Parang I'm just so grateful for the industry na I was able to enjoy. Parang feeling ko playground ko lang talaga siya. And also in between all the modeling was singing. I never stopped singing too. Like whenever there would be an opportunity, I would always say yes to it kasi I would always say nga na first love ko yon. Masaya lang kasi talaga. Alam niyo naman yan. Kaya mahilig tayo mag-karaoke, diba? So yun, I always loved musicals. So I tried out for High School Musical on stage naman. And this was like, I was literally legit in high school that time. And yeah, that was so fun. That was like with trumpets and stages. And then eventually nagkaroon pa kami ng mini show. Yung part of the cast members had like a little performance in Enchanted Kingdom. Grabe kung ano-ano na lang ginawa ko. So there was a time na I was in a theme park singing every weekend. Sobrang saya. Ayun, and I'm just grateful for all those opportunities. And then eventually hosting came around, like hosting naman for Kids TV and RPN 9. Again, all those were kind of simultaneous. Our Kids TV was first. I was like, what about 9? 11 years old. Tama. I was 11 years old, and it was a telemagazine show for kids, hosted by kids. And I just am so grateful for that opportunity because without that, I wouldn't even know that hosting would be such a fulfilling career too. Sobrang saya lang niya talaga. It was a lifestyle show. So we got to travel and we got to meet a lot of different people. And ako noon pa lang, mahilig na akong chumika, mahilig na akong mag-ask ng questions. I've always been a curious kid. And I think until now that shows. And for me, I learned so much by talking to people. And yeah, I'm happy I'm still able to do that today with podcasts like this and with hosting. And then yun, from Kids TV naging RPN 9. 5 years ago with that station. And that really trained me naman because there it was for Newswatch Junior Edition and they trained us to do our own reports, as in producing everything from scratch and even editing. Oh my goodness, I'm so grateful for that learning opportunity because not only did I get to meet a lot of amazing people, but it really trained me my communication skills, my content creation skills, if you may. Kasi noon wala pa namang content creation, diba? So yun, and then eventually Chinoy TV, diba? Yes, I love it. So happy to be with the Chinoy TV family and UAAP, of course, with ABS-CBN Sports in Action. And that was right after college. And ABL, like courtside reporting for a time. I also tried the sports side of things for Fox Sports. So yun, parang I think the thing is I'm open to trying out new things. And as long as you enjoy every little thing, you don't know where it's going to lead you to talaga. And it's really people who will connect you to more opportunities. And yeah, I think for education naman, I always prioritized it also. I never stopped studying. I graduated from Ateneo. Communication naman ang aking major. That was my major. And I was like a few points short of being like honorable mention or something. Grabe ang sakit, no? No, but if that's, kung may question about if I regret anything or something, I think yun na yun. I think I didn't know na pwede pala ako magka-super honors in college. Akala ko pag high school lang, parang attainable. So guys, big dreams. You never know, mahirap nang maipit sa dulo. Pero yeah, no regrets pa rin. I'm just so grateful to be able to have a balanced childhood and parang personal and professional life. And I feel like my work has always been play. And I've always enjoyed it. Grabe, guys, tapos na yata yung episode. Ang dami kong sinabi. Ayun. And by the way, I also went to another high school for those listening who are curious. And yeah, just for the record, I went to Reedley International School also for the last 2 years of high school, just because I felt like it was the right school for my lifestyle at that moment. It was a good balance of both. I am able to really be able to live and enjoy and work and kind of learn from the new world outside the corners of a traditional school. And although some would say, ah, sayang naman, sana tinapos mo na St. Jude and all. But at that time, I felt like it was really the right reason and the right decision for me to do. And I super love my St. Jude family. They really trained me a lot, especially sa pag-memorize. It helps a lot, with the hosting world, like kind of like a photographic memory at some point. And yeah, with Ano Naman, with Really, I'm able to do regular tapings also after school and be I was a junior jock also for Magic 89.9 for a time. So yon, very ayoko kasing ma-bored, guys. That's why. Ang dami kong ginagawa, pero for me sobrang saya lang talaga siya. For me, it's my extracurricular and it's so fun, and I hope you guys are able to find what makes you happy and what feels right for you too. So yon. And yeah, grabe, pati sports, pati gymnastics, ice skating, ay sinubukan ko na lahat. So yun, at least looking back, I'm like, saya naman. So now that we're in quarantine and like we have a lot of time in our hands, like I'm holding on to those memories and those amazing fun work and personal memories. Okay, so yeah, bahala na tayo sa editing. Ang dami kong sinabi. Okay, so let's just quickly go on. Ay, grabe talaga yung ano ko talaga. Ang dami ko talagang ginawa kasi. Okay, so how do I maintain consistent with creating content and what inspires me naman when it comes to content? Actually, with content creation naman, when you heard my story of trying out new things and stuff, I think that's the same thing with content creation. I never thought it would be a real industry or business. If you look back at our episode with Camille Cole, I think she has the same sentiments too. And I think for me, as long as it's in line with my lifestyle, you know, I still want it to be as organic as possible, still be able to give fresh ideas without losing sight of my values, and just have fun with it always. For me, ang very important is connecting with my followers or my audience or friends, just be real and really show your true tone, diba? Yun. And yeah, keep it fresh, change it up from time to time, like not just pictures. Sometimes you can try out posting videos, even if it's like not in your comfort zone. Maybe if you're so used to just um, doing things one way, sometimes you can change it up and then you'll see that it's probably more effective. So, in terms of that kind of like practical side naman, that would be my tip in terms of building a brand, probably, and being more consistent online if you want to be a content creator. Okay, so also what gets my creative juices flowing. I think, yeah, I also get inspiration from a lot of the things I see online, offline, movies, music, people I follow. And I guess similar also to the content creation episode, I really relate to a lot of those pointers that you just have to rest also to kind of get new perspectives. Sometimes tulog lang yan eh. Pag nababurn out or pag feeling mong you're in a rut and you're uninspired. And I think this can apply to not only content creation, but to whatever field you're in. Okay, next question is advice naman for millennials or Gen Z, or basically the youth, for starting their career. I think starting a career or choosing a career path, it's so important for you to really love what you do. I know you've been hearing this always, pero grabe talaga. Kasi if you love what you do, di ba there's a quote nga na, you'll never work a day in your life, right? And I still believe in that. But at the same time, it doesn't necessarily, it's not, it sounds so positive, But actually, you would still feel the work because it's still gonna get to you. So, yun na lang. Choose a career path that kahit na maging mahirap siya, gugustuhin mo pa rin gawin kasi gusto mo siya, because you really like it and it's your purpose too. And if you feel burned out or a little stress, don't think of yourself na lang din. Parang think of the bigger picture that, you're doing this for a bigger purpose, not only to satisfy your own career or your own career milestones or your own ego, but it's for a bigger purpose. It's to serve God, diba? To serve the community and to make your family and friends proud too, right? I guess that for me, that's also a motivating factor. Okay, this next question is, what is time management for you? And how do I manage my time basically? I guess I get this question a lot, especially when I would be invited to mga universities for talks. Usually yun yung question eh, how do you manage your time? I think for me it's really prioritizing and being strict on or being clear with being clear with your priorities, knowing when to say yes and knowing when it's good for you overall, and knowing when to say no, and just balancing a holistic lifestyle. At the end of the day, it's not all career, and I could really resonate with that. I think we need a separate podcast topic for this. But like one time I got so sick, that was like back in 2016. I was diagnosed with Bell's palsy at the height of everything, at the height of all the work. I even had like a work trip abroad. Basta nakakatakot kasi it was like half my face got paralyzed, and I just was so weak internally too, and it was scary because half of my face was paralyzed. As in parang akong broken doll na parang, oh my gosh, ano na. And it was so scary because syempre, a lot of my work requires my face to be presentable, and it was just so overwhelming. So, if you look back to that instance, I would just say na grabe, everything is a bonus as long as you're healthy too. And as long as you have a good life, a healthy life personally. And bonus na lang talaga yan lahat. And yeah, syempre, you can't excel in your career if you are unhealthy or unwell. So prioritize your health and personal life. And um when it comes to ano naman, priorities and procrastination and the whole discipline thing, sometimes I always say, because I'm now with this especially, you can call me a freelancer if you may. Like I do have, like, this job requires for me to be disciplined and to be structured. Ako pa naman, I'm such a free flowing person, and I think now all the more, now that lines are a little bit blurred, work and like being at home, work from home, when does it stop? When does it start? I'm grateful that I have like a support system again. My mom now is full-time a momager. Ang dami niyang shout out sa podcasts, no? Episodes ko. Pero totoo naman talaga. Like, she helps me make my schedules, and I'm so grateful for that. Although I do have a to-do list, and then I try my best to accomplish the ones na kaya ko nang gawin agad para tapos na siya, 'di ba? And then if you can do something today, finish it na today. 'Di ba may ano yan yung Chinese ano, 今天的 conquer 今天做. So funny. One time nung tinatamad ako, like within this quarantine period, minsan kasi ganun ako, and ang lagi kong sinasabi kay mom, or like, because she kind of is my disciplinarian, grabe, here at home na, oh, wala ako sa mood today to do that. Yun, sometimes you just have to suck it up and know that, come on, let's be professional about it. Let's be disciplined about it. And just yun, and at the same time strike a balance when you're at the right headspace, and when you're creative enough to do productive work, kasi hindi ka rin naman magiging productive kung hindi ka talaga, if you are feeling unwell. So strike that perfect balance of being disciplined, of having the right structure, of knowing your deadlines. For me, if you give me a deadline, I think that's more of like it will be more real to me na I have to finish a certain task or accomplishment. Yon. My mom gives me deadlines one day before, like to help me with work. She's like, okay, ito, tapusin mo na by today. Para bukas, ito na. Hindi mo na alam. Baka next week, may mga new work na darating, di ba? Or hindi ka na makakagala with like a new normal date, or like a new normal friend hangout, di ba? So yon. Again, just, you have to make sacrifices too if you really want to excel in a certain field. I think that is sometimes overlooked, like with how glossy things can get online and on Instagram, and when how we present ourselves. Sometimes, syempre, hindi naman ako magpapakita na haggard. Kung haggard ako, hindi na talaga ako mag-film or mag-stories at all. Pero yeah, we do make sacrifices, and sometimes that's not broadcasted, but you do have to suck it up and just do the work. Prioritize your time and know that it will all be worth it. I think rewards work for me too. Na parang, okay, I finished everything na para at the end of the day, pwede na ako mag-Netflix and pwede na ako just, have my quiet time, either doing yoga or whatever I want to do for the day. Okay, so next naman is how do you overcome fear of judgment in life in general, be it in academics? Ito, this question is pertaining to academics lang. Grabe, ganun na ba ngayon? Pag sa school, ganun ba ka-judgy yung mga tao? Pati yung, what do you mean by that? Yung classmate mo ba dyan na-judge yung scores mo? Ganun na parang, oh, ganun ba yun? Oh my God, ang sad naman yan. Okay, well, hopefully, you guys don't live in a toxic environment like that. But if you kind of are, let's forgive them na lang. I think the whole the whole the whole topic of judging people and being judgy towards ourselves too. I think it's more of a reflection on how we're afraid also of our own weaknesses, of our insecurities, and that's why we kind of project that onto others. That's why people judge. And me, whenever I catch myself judging people, come on, we're all human, we do that. Whenever I see catch myself judging others, I'd be like, okay, hold on, I'm not perfect. I have my weekdays too. So isipin na lang natin na, hurt people, judgy people probably feel like they've been judged, or they are probably the most judgy to themselves. That's why they feel like they kind of have to. Parang nagiging defense mechanism nila yan. Na I'm a little bit better. I feel a little bit better just because I'm able to hurt others through this judgment. And sometimes people don't even realize it, that they're judging others already. Diba? Tapos ma-hurt ka na lang. So guys, let's just be more understanding towards each other. You never know what they're going through. So I guess forgive them na lang. And don't be like them. Don't be judgy. Okay? We're all imperfect creatures. And let's all, lang, have that allowance of error and faults towards each other. Ayun. O, diba? Philosophical tayo. I do love my philosophy classes back in Ateneo. Okay, so next question is, what do you think is, okay, maybe we can do more about life and faith naman. Advice on how to be fearless in obstacles that life gives us or throws at us, and how to stay positive despite the challenges and struggles when it comes to achieving your goals. Okay, so grabe guys, alam niyo naman yan. When it comes to life, there's nothing constant but change, and sometimes change can be mistaken as obstacles, diba? Minsan parang umiba lang, or parang we have certain expectations of how things are going, and then it changes, and for us it's a problem na. Maybe we shouldn't think of it that way. Maybe we should think of it as a redirection. Okay, sometimes I can also be overly excited with things, and I am an idealistic person. Come on, I'm, I'm, I would, if you know me, like if my friends, my close friends would know me, my family knows me, that I'm usually the one really giving pep talks, and I'm the one cheering people on. But I also have those days wherein I get disappointed, or wherein I get overwhelmed, or wherein I doubt myself, or when I feel like it's too challenging, and I'm like, can I just get this over with? You know, we have to have a kind inner voice first of all, and just allow ourselves to learn from every situation. You can take a step back first so you can regroup and realign, and then maybe you can see how you are able to solve na lang the problem. For me, sometimes if it's like a real problem na parang alarming, or if something is, what do you call this? If something is out of your control, and your first instinct is to feel bad, or be like to what do you call this? erupt talaga, to to panic. Ayon. If your first instinct is to panic, wag na lang. I think we have to train our minds and our hearts to be resilient. That even, we can be positive, but at the same time be strong, diba? Now, when things don't go our way, we can still take it. And let's just think of practical ways to overcome these challenges and obstacles. If it's too hard for you, that's what your family and friends are for. They're there to help you. We were never meant to succeed alone here on earth. And that's what makes it all the more beautiful, the fact that we can grow and succeed together, and that people are empathizing with you too. You're not alone with obstacles. And if you feel alone, well, I hope this podcast makes you feel less alone, and that, kapit lang, kaya mo yan. And just take things lightly. I wrote here in my notes, I think that's one of the core values that I kind of noticed with how I deal with things, with difficulties or with challenges. I take it lightly. Hindi naman sa binabaliwala ko lang, pero I like to take it with a childlike heart, na parang, or if I feel, kunyari, if I feel like, sometimes kasi ako pa naman, minsan, I take things to heart talaga, na parang if things don't go my way, parang sometimes parang I am too hard on myself at some point, na parang, oh no, parang it could have been better. But again, I have to remind myself, chill, okay lang yan. I would put myself like in a sitcom, rom-com context na, di ba, when you watch Friends, pag nagkakamali sila, nagkakaroon ng canned laughter, di ba? So sometimes if it's really too like, oh well, if it's an oh well situation or scenario, I would just like, first, how can I learn from this? Diba? Syempre naman, para hindi man masayang yung experience na yun. How will you learn from it and how will you grow? And then if you still feel bad about it, okay lang, release it. We all have our coping mechanisms. Other people cry it out. Other people drink. I don't recommend that, of course. But kanya-kanya. Hopefully your coping mechanism is healthy. Ako, recently I've been, one of the things is that I just add canned laughter in my head as if I'm editing my own movie. Oh well, diba? Sometimes ganun lang naman yun eh. And then move on. It's not the end of the world, okay? When obstacles or challenges come your way. So yeah, I take it lightly, live life with levity, and be resilient. Resilience is the key. I think that's one of the lessons that this year is really teaching us, to be resilient. Okay, and be compassionate with yourself as if you're a friend to yourself. Di ba minsan when a friend is like going through a hard time, parang gets na gets natin sila eh. Pero pag tayo yung may dinaranas, parang tayo yung parang, no, it's the end of the world, di ba? So let your inner voice be your own friend. Di ba? Gusto mo yan? Gawa tayo ng song for that. Okay, so next naman is, what is the most inspiring Bible verse for you? Okay, so for me, this whole pandemic, I've had so much more time for my devotionals, and I'm so grateful for that too. And one of the Bible verses that I've been reading for, I actually made a page for it, even kind of like a passion project. It's called God is Gracious. It's actually the meaning behind my name. Janeena means God is gracious. And um, one of my favorite verses that I did a voiceover of, or I posted there, was this. It's Ephesians 3:18-20. And it says here, may you have the power to, okay, can I just redo that? Para mas malinas. Okay. So the Bible verse that I really love is this one from Ephesians 3:18-20. It says, may you have the power to understand, as all God people should, how wide, how long, how high, and how deep his love is. May you experience the love of Christ, though it is too great to understand fully. Then you will be made complete with all the fullness of life and power that comes from God. And yeah, all glory to God, who is able, through his mighty power at work within us, to accomplish infinitely more than we might ask or think. Wow, let's take a moment to take that all in. Okay, well, I am loving, this is the New Living Translation version, by the way. And I just love how poetic this is. Guys, if it's been a while since you last picked up a Bible, maybe you should, because you will be inspired talaga. And here, I think it's just nakakakilabot for me because, sometimes things are out of our control. And especially with this year, this is like the year of uncertainties. But I think with this promise, you can be certain that, God has already prepared an even more amazing outcome for us as long as we are faithful and our hearts are in the right place. Our heart is in the right place. And nga nakasulat dito, though it is too great to understand fully how amazing his love is, I hope we still hold on to that hope that he is here to help us accomplish our tasks. Yes, we have our moments of weakness, but through his help and his love, we are able to accomplish it. And it can even surpass what we would even expect. For example, this podcast. I've always kind of been thinking of it would be great to have a podcast, and then fast forward to today. Like I was even asking my friends who are radio jocks. Grabe, I salute you guys. They did all this their own setup at home together. They really learned the ropes of it, and I wouldn't have done this without my Rise Up with Janeena Chan team, the Chinoy TV podcast network. So thank you guys. And then yun na nga, parang God just really works in such great ways na biglang, wow, this is it. It's manifested. Like literally a few months ago, I had zero clue on how I'll be able to do this. And it's just so amazing how gracious God is. And ang dami kong anecdotes for that talaga. Isa lang to. Sobrang dami na talagang nakakakilabot. Maybe we just have to pause and take a look back at all of these all those gracious moments when he's been infinitely gracious talaga na parang whoa, ang galing and nakakakilabot. So yeah, let's hold on to that. Again, this is Ephesians 3:18 to 20, that he can really exceed or surpass our expectations. And ayun, just always be okay. So I would just like to relate that Bible verse to this next question, which is what's something you've always wanted to do but never did? And what kept you or is keeping you from doing it? Okay, the my neighbor's dogs are barking. Okay. Okay, so for me it would have to be, nga, I guess I would always want to go back to my first love, which is singing. But you know what? It doesn't mean if we don't see like a loud tangible evidence na successful ka. Hindi naman ibig sabihin hindi siya, alam mo yun, parang it doesn't mean that it's not valuable or that it doesn't give value to your life. And and again, there is no deadline for achieving your goals or for wanting to explore new things or even go back to previous passions. And I think again, at the end of the day, kung para sa'yo, I still believe in destiny. Wow, my God. If it's for you, it will come easily. And you will know that it's a part of your purpose too. Sometimes kasi parang, bakit hindi? Bakit, ilang beses ko na to gusto. Be it a business ha. Actually, I tried thinking about it sounds nice, diba? Being a business owner, being a CEO. But some things are just not for you. I'm a CEO in a sense that I have to be a CEO of Janeena Chan, the host, the artist, the content creator, and be mindful of my time and my staff being mom. No, but yeah, totoo naman. And yeah, my driver, our house help here, who is our official receiver of packages, diba? I am responsible for them. And yun, going back to things that I want to do and what's holding me back, to be honest, I think ano ba? Hindi naman sa holding me back, pero I still believe in right timing. The right timing, being at the right place, at the right time, for the right reasons, for the right purpose, with the right people. It doesn't mean kung ma-reject ka or, pag na-delay ang certain goal na hindi na siya mangyayari. So never lose sight of that. And and siguro fast forward pag naging lolas and lolas na tayo on our deathbed, I'm pretty sure naman siguro it will still be a colorful life. With or without the things you thought you would have accomplished. It's an accumulation of everything. It's not all about career and work, but you have to think of the bigger picture. And again, what is the bigger picture? Just live an honest, genuine life that is good and honorable and wholesome over and wholeness over perfection. That's one thing. Earlier I was just checking my Pinterest. That's one of the things that lift me up, by the way. One of the things, aside from the Bible, my favorite book is Pinterest. It's a picture book. I'm a very visual person. So yeah, even the quotes from there. I follow this author, Morgan Harper Nichols. She's become very popular also too. Sana ma-interview natin siya dito, no? Actually, I don't know how that happened, pero I don't know who she's following me back actually on Instagram. Oh my gosh. So I hope I'm able to. I think I was just reposting her mga posts and quotes, and then she just like returned the favor of following me back. So I hope no, let's interview her. DM ko nga siya. But anyway, for me that was such a fangirl moment. So this is her quote na yun na nga, wholesome na naman, ano ba yan? Wholeness over perfection. And I really love that. You have to have a balance of everything, and it just it does feel good to achieve that balance instead of perfection, because it doesn't exist really. Only God is perfect. Okay, so wrapping things up, greatest lesson in 2020. What is the greatest lesson I've learned? More than anything, ironically, it's the value of community. Nakakayak. Just the other day, I was like, my loneliness is killing me. And I thought I was alone. So like I thought na parang, oh, na people didn't really feel that exactly. But when I just mustered up the courage. Minsan kasi diba jahe na mauna sa mga phone call. Baka may ganun. Especially kung medyo matagal na kayong hindi nag-uusap. But I was just like, come on, I'm going to call my friends up and ask how they're doing, even if it's been a while. Like from my high school friends from St. Jude, to my high school friends from Reedley, to my college friends in Ateneo, to my work friends. Tinawagan ko silang lahat and then asking them how they are. And it feels so great to just be able to reconnect with friends. And I highly suggest that. If you've been putting it off, if you feel like nakakahiya or maybe I'm bothering them, do it. I think you're doing it not just for you but also for them. And yeah, being able to connect and have that sense of community is so important, and I think you just get to appreciate that more. um the other day I was listening to this other podcast. Yes, I also learned from other podcasts. And then they had this therapist, and therapist ba, no, author pala, about parang how to practice gratitude. Sometimes kasi it's so easy to say, oh, just be grateful. What are you grateful for? But a more tangible way of, or a more concrete way of doing it is by thinking of if you remove that certain thing in your life, will it make you sad? Oh, my gonna know. So yun, sometimes yeah, that's exactly what's happening now. We have limitations, we have restrictions, we can't see each other. And ako pa naman, I'm a very social person. I really love being able to connect with people. So I think, again, that's the greatest lesson for me: the value of community and of having of friendships, of connections, of true connections, and to never take anything for granted as well. That for me is the big thing. The little things that you thought na parang, oh, makapag ano lang, 'di ba? Makapag ano ba? Ano ba yung mga makapag dinner lang nang hindi natatakot outside, right? Grabe talaga. So, yeah. Things are fleeting, and that you should always appreciate the now. And yeah, I'm happy I think I was able naman to do that. Actually, maybe too much nga of work and of just being there, being being out, what do you call this? Being um an outgoing person na sobrang laging, to a point that I almost never see my room. But yun, I think balance is key too. So I think after this whole pandemic, we're able to hopefully mesh both, the goodness in seeing the simple things, and then also the goodness um in wait lang, napagod na ako. Let me just collect my thoughts for that particular topic. Wait lang. I'm just gonna wrap up that topic. 2020 lesson. Okay. Let me sip. And then after nun, actually about love na lang, and then tapos na tayo. Okay, three, two, one. Okay. So just to wrap things up, I think the biggest lesson again is to okay. So to wrap things up, I think just the biggest sorry. Okay. So the biggest lesson for me, I think this 2020 is the value of relationships, of really enjoying your now and just not taking anything for granted, just being in the moment and enjoying it to the fullest, not overthinking the what ifs, because you never know when we're all gonna have to be socially distanced from each other, right? And it's really sad, but kapit lang, we're all here for each other, and I hope you guys are still doing well and are still staying healthy. Okay, next, we're almost this is the last for kind of like life in general. Are there any causes you advocate for? Ako, again, for health, I think it just every time I want to complain or be sad about something, I would always have to look back at that life-changing moment, the whole Bell's palsy, health scare, life scare, if you may. It totally changed my perspective on everything. Grabe, all I wanted to do before was to do a full smile. As in, ganito yung, for those watching on YouTube with the visuals, ganun yung itsura ko talaga. I can't even like sip from a straw properly. As in, magdidrip siya. Ganun ka-hassle. Grabe, guys. Hi. And then, like, recently, kind of, when I was feeling overwhelmed and a little agitated, na parang medyo naging irritable na ako, parang, I had this, like, little accident kasi when I was in Japan for a trip, like a content creator trip for Japan tourism. And then medyo na-hit ko yung toe ko with a bike. And then sobrang sakit to a point na, wow, can you believe hindi mo akalain that one single toe could affect your entire body. So yun, na parang I advocate for health first of all, and of just letting the little things go, and of goodness, and always seeing the good in people and in every situation. Although it does sound fluffy, it doesn't mean naman na magiging ano ka, 'di ba? Na magiging parang what do you call this? It doesn't mean that you won't it doesn't mean na wait, sorry, what am I getting at? It doesn't mean na hindi ka magpapa okay. Paano ba yun? Positivity. Okay. Parang just I just don't want to mistaken positivity for like being weak too. Na parang people say na parang toxic positivity, diba? And stuff like that. But you know what? I think as long as your intentions are good and you're fighting for justice, whatever happens, and your heart is in the right place, that is what I advocate for: goodness and health. And if you're looking at like a solid organization, you can check out Cancer Events. They actually have their mga fundraisers too that you can check out for yourselves that probably can give back to as well. And even if you're like overwhelmed, you want to give back to society and don't know where to start, you can just go to your village church. I'm actually neighbors with my church. And then you can just check up on what they are doing. They actually don't advertise their mga campaigns pero and their mga fundraisers because nasa Bible talaga yun, 'di ba? Na parang don't be loud about your charitable works because that's not how things go, 'di ba? So they are quiet about it. Pero actually they have mga soup drives, and mga fundraisers. You just have to ask and then they are more than happy to accept the help that they can. So you can start with those if you're not sure where to begin in terms of donations or charitable causes. Yeah. And yeah, start from charity starts from the family and from your inner circle too. Like if you can give to your staff, diba? So drivers, house help, it starts with them. It starts with your family too. Okay, and then let's wrap things up. So fun. Ito naman, love and relationships. Nakasingit. I asked this kasi over on IG stories. How can ano naman? Um how can one recover from a toxic relationship? I think for that, just you just have to heal. And it's easier said than done. Our our ways of coping when it comes to that. Watch a feel good movie maybe. Pero for me, just communicate your thoughts. If you kung wala pang parang what do you call this? For me, you have to forgive the person too. I think I could relate this to toxic, you know, it's toxic friendships, but of course, let's just relate it to a time wherein I had a really good friend, and then we kind of like weren't able to basically from really good friends to really barely talking, and that's so sad, diba? But that happens, and I think that's because of different egos and of clashing, diba? Of clashing egos, or of just um wait lang, napapagod na talaga ako. Yung brain ko napagod na. I know what, kanina may sagot ako dito pero I just have to like, pagod na ako. Or what if wag na natin gawin yung relationship, Mish? Para kasi ang dami ko na rin sinabi Para feeling ko nice na to for another episode. No? Okay, pagod na ako. Tsaka parang ang dami na talaga yun. Ang dami na nun. Sabaw na ako. Sige, let's just end this. I'm gonna end it na lang, Mish, ha? Okay. Okay. So, all right. Okay. So that's it, guys. All the questions. I hope I was able to answer it. I feel like this is a heart-to-heart session more than anything. And yeah, thank you so much for listening, and I hope you did learn a lot. And we do look forward to having you in the next episodes. Hopefully, we will be having more experts in their fields and more guests, and it will be really exciting. And again, this is a safe space for everyone to just share their thoughts and to share our learnings with all of you guys. And I do hope that you can share the love too by giving us a great review over on whatever platform you're listening to. If it's on Spotify, please do follow us and share this on your stories and share this with your friends and family too. If it's via YouTube, please do subscribe if you haven't yet. And yeah, I had so much fun, and we'll see you in the next. Again, always stay happy, healthy, safe, and God bless.
Now, I may feel very down, I feel very bad, umiyak ka ganyan, parang feeling mo it's the end of the world. But you try to think, oh sige, what about 5 years from now? Nasaan na kaya ako?